No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Welcome to the Perfect Parlay Pursuit. It is that time again. We're going to recap last night's epic clash between Jared Cannonier and Kelvin Gastelum while breaking down next week's card, Edson Barboza versus Giga Chikadze. We're going to give you our early predictions. We're going to give you our recap thoughts, our results, how we did. Danny, Alex, say hello.
How's it going, everybody? I'm a little full tonight, full from eating all my words about Jared Cannonier. We'll get to all that, but overall, I'm doing well. Alex, let me toss it to you.
Yeah, you were on that Kelvin train too, Alex. What do you say for yourself?
Didn't watch the fight. I was too depressed after some of my fights lost. I went right to sleep. I did the responsible thing and got a couple extra Z's. You know, I was already out. My money was dead. Thought I'd get out of it.
Are you insane?
I'm depressed, dude. I'm just lucky I'm so lazy that I can't drive 45 minutes to the nearest bridge. Like that's just the facts.
Bro, what? You didn't watch the fight? Like, I'm looking for a drop that is like appropriate for this. I don't think I have one that is insulting enough. Yeah, I do.
And I got news for you.
Nah, I can't. That's too insulting to I can't do it.
That insults other people.
This is the point where
that's too much of an insult to other fine people who I respect. I don't respect you. You didn't watch the fight. I'm sitting there by myself in my apartment. Brooke was asleep too. My girlfriend was asleep. She, you know, I give her that pass. She can go to sleep. But Alex, you, my brother, somebody who has a fiscal responsibility to this show to watch the fucking fights.
It was rough, dude. It was rough. I'm going through it right now. If anybody wants to go to my GoFundMe, I need money now. I'm down and out. I'm a degenerate. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to gamble on the next event. It's rough out here, you know.
Nobody's gonna fund you now that they know that you're not putting in the hours for the show. That's not how it works. Come on,
bro.
Amateur, very amateur.
I'm just waiting for that all season.
Well, you missed
wake me up when it starts.
You missed a good fight. Jared Cannonier, he came in there.
Ready. Yeah.
Kelvin did not, my friend. Kelvin's got, he was gifted with like a Philly shell from God. It's like a turtle. Like, he just happens to have the spine that like is like arched in a way where it's behind his shoulders, I feel like. And, you know, he's got the cranium from the Aztecas, so he's never going to get knocked out. But damn, did Jared Cannonier not do exactly what I said he was going to do? He cracked that coconut, dropped them at least once. Good, solid drop. But Kelvin, all respect. I mean, he got up like somebody had shot him with an adrenaline dart. I mean, he was like nothing ever happened. Like he had that. You ever watch that? I think it's a Dave Chappelle skit where he's like, you ever see somebody get knocked out and they come out of it embarrassed? Or no, it's Kevin Hart. That's it. Kevin Hart. He's like, which one of y'all just hit me? Or something like that. No, wait, I'm actually thinking of Rush Hour. I don't know what I'm thinking of, guys. By the way, my ring light's broken. It's incredibly bright. There's like a crack in it, and it's like blinding me right now. So that's why if I appear like I'm like looking at the sun right now, that's why I gotta adjust this once I get a break, once these guys start talking. But anyway, Jared Cannonier, amazing fight. Did exactly what I thought he was gonna do. But one thing I'll say, you know, Kelvin looked great in the 5th round. I just don't know why he doesn't come out and do that pace from the start, because if he did that in the 1st round, he'd break his opponents mentally, and they wouldn't even be there to fight him in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. But instead, he lets them get their confidence up. I mean, the moment Cannonier dropped him, it was all over. Like, he was able to just kind of coast on that, leave that in the judge's memory, and just kind of coast from there, you know? Good fight, though. What do you guys think? Not you.
I thought that Cannonier, he lasted all 5 rounds easy. I thought that was going to be one of the things that would really trip him up. At some point, get gassed out. Kelvin was trying the wrestling and never thought that was actually going to work as far as an actual takedown and submission attempts. But, you know, drained the gas tank. And even with all that, and even with a pretty good amount of volume coming out of Cannonier, just kept up the pace the entire time. Anytime it got a little bit hairy, he would take a step and just kind of breathe through his nose and just make it through. And he looked incredible shape the entire time. With some good technique, kept him on the end of the jab. Anytime he did try to go in, Gastelum, he was just met with a stiff jab every single time. So I don't think he's going to win the title anytime soon. But a lot more respect for Jared Cannonier tonight than I did 24 hours ago.
Yeah, good performance. But there's a lot more fights I want to break down. So I went 7 for 12 on the night, and if you're new to the show, that's about as worst, about worse a night as I ever have. You know what I mean? It's like most of the time I'm only getting 1 or 2 wrong, I feel like. And if you take a look at my year 1 record, you can see that there were only actually 8 events in the entire pandemic era from Tony Ferguson until the end of that betting year that I went under 50%. There were only 8 times out of the 47 that I went under 50%. Here they are. Every single other event I had above 50% accuracy, including my perfect parlay, 10 out of 10, Ivers Calvillo. So moving into year 2, I went 7 out of 12, and I felt like I was having so much success. So let's talk about it. Ramiz Brahimaj, I picked him. He cut right through Sasha. In hindsight, should have been way more confident in his ground game and should have put more on him. I'm just going to go through all my wins real quick, and then we'll just talk about him in more detail. Ignacio Bahamundes, you guys switched me over. I was high on Rosemar Roberts. I said he's got, nothing to lose, and he's fighting for his job. Hungry Dog runs the fastest. He's got potential we haven't seen yet. I think he can go in there and beat the younger guy in Bahamundes. Dude, that was one of the most spectacular kicks I've ever seen in my life. I love that kick. It's my personal favorite kick to practice, favorite kick to throw. It always feels nice throwing it, and for him to just 5 seconds left, and I picked him, and it was kind of a close decision. I knew he was going to win, but it was also like, but these judges, who knows? So to cap it off like that, beautiful. What do you guys think about that knockout?
Yeah, I was riding high after that. I did lose the Sasha Politnikov fight first, put in another parlay right after for $3,000 with the other 11 fights on the card. Was riding high. I was excited. I was at a fantasy football draft, saw that. I yelled. Everybody was scared out of their wits when I let out that scream. And when I showed them the video, they were all just as impressed as I was, and they never watched a fight in their life. So it was a beautiful kick, a beautiful knockout, and front runner for knockout of the year, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah, as far as Ramiz and the Sasha fight, Ramiz just doing Ramiz things, taking the back and getting the sub. He does that all the time, always going for the rear naked, and he made it look easy. So Sasha's grappling and takedown defense as a combo, something to look out for. It didn't look great the other night. And the kick was amazing. Late towards the end of the fight, he's gassed, and still to be able to land a kick of that difficulty level and just land it perfectly. And a great fight leading up to it too. The whole all 3 rounds. One of those barn burner fights, and one of 4 finishes to start off the night. So the fans got their money's worth as far as it not being a high-level name value card, but lots of amazing fights. Loved it.
Now, I want to revisit the Sasha and Ramiz fight because I was real high on Sasha just going in. He looked amazing. I think that if this guy can get his ground game in order and just be able to defend some of these submissions, he's going to pull off some spectacular knockouts the first time in the UFC is done. So no shame there. But, he's Russian-born, lives in, where's he live, guys? Hong Kong. And they wouldn't even put the Hong Kong flag on the UFC broadcast. What do we have to say about that? ESPN, CUCK City, huh? Wow, we really see your true colors. You're not Patriots. As high as I was on Clay Guida coming in there, hot, looking like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, we played.
I love how you do the drops as you're still talking. Like, you're still talking.
No, I'm just saying, I was high on Clay Guida going into this card. He was talking all this stuff about the Olympics in America, and it was getting me really patriotic, really fired up. And I had to just play that Hacksaw Jim Duggan drop right now because I felt myself getting down talking about how I have to look at ESPN, whatever happened to American exceptionalism, whatever happened to American pride, whatever happened to we write the rules and we say what goes and who is a country and who isn't a country. And if this guy wants to come into the UFC, the octagon, a place where he's spilling his blood, and he wants to say, I represent this piece of fucking dirt, and it's called this piece of dirt's name, let him do it. And also, that was the first time I've ever seen the UFC, besides when they made Brock Lesnar drink a Bud Light at the press conference. That's the first time I ever saw the UFC shut down free speech and shut down, make a political statement by trying not to make a political statement. It's really at a time when I don't want to get too political on this podcast, but at a time when the world's in turmoil and there's a lot of evil in the world and there's a lot of people are down on the U.S. right now, and we do not need that kind of shit. ESPN, UFC, Dana White. I know you're not to blame on this one, but
yeah, and
I guess you win all the battles. I don't know. Sorry, Alex.
We're turning into the NBA over here, and I don't necessarily like that. This is ESPN, Walt Disney. world. I'm gonna watch what I say, just so YouTube has no
I'm not
issues
going to
with this
watch what I say.
video.
One second. I'm not going to watch what I say. Walt Disney and the Luciferian cult that is Disney World, the whole human sex trafficking operation that is Disney World, they get no free pass from me. They need to look in their skeletons in their closet, and they need to address it, and they need to talk about their founding. Why is Walt Disney hanging out with Aleister Crowley? Why is Walt Disney hanging out with Wernher von Braun, Nazis? Why is he hanging out with people who are founding NASA? What's going on here? So, I don't know.
There was a lot of fraudulent shit that.
Yeah, and
everybody wants to act like the mouse is untouchable. The reality is, you might see me hanging from a closet tomorrow with a belt around my neck and my hand on my penis. I swear to God, I didn't do it, but we'll see.
And that's why everybody.
That might be your thing. Actually,
I'm too small time to get suicided. It sucks. I wish they would come kill me.
You and both.
Look into it.
You and me both after those fights last night. I just wish somebody would do it because I don't have the balls to do it myself. But like I was saying, we're just turning into the NBA over here. Anything that has to do with China, there's too much money coming out of there. They don't want to step on the Chinese toes, and I don't like it one bit. Let the man represent his flag. That's ridiculous. Hong Kong, I stand by Hong Kong. And John Cena, don't ever take your words back. Respect Hong Kong.
Look, here's the deal.
Oh God,
Uncle Joe's mad, man. He does not want us. Uncle Joe's in there collecting a lot of yen right now. A lot of Bitcoin. Every Bitcoin a Chinese citizen loses goes right in Uncle Joe and little Hunter's pocket, I think.
Once Uncle Dana hears all this and gets word that this went down and gets all the backlash from the true patriots on the internet, he'll make amends. I have faith in Uncle Dana. He hasn't proved us wrong yet. So,
but who knows if he'll ever have to, because Sasha isn't going to get another fight in the UFC with ground game like that, honestly.
Oh, yes.
Right. At least he didn't tap out. He didn't give up.
Yeah. And that's what he's always looking for.
And listen, I bet on Ramiz, but I bet on a lot of guys who tap out a lot quicker than Sasha did. And if I bet on Sasha, I wouldn't have been mad one bit. I'll tell you that much. Don't tap out.
Just going to let that hang.
All right. So I really wanted to make sure we touched on that. William Knight, absolute terrorist of the light heavyweight division. Who wants to fight that guy, dude? William Knight with that 1-inch punch. Boom! It's like me and William Knight. Only us are the only ones with that Kill Bill style in there. Alex, what do you have to say about William Knight and that 1-inch punch that he did?
I mean, everybody knows that it was very irresponsible for him to even try to throw it, let his head back. I mean, dude has long arms. I don't know what they're talking about. I know DC has that small body, and so does Paul Felder. So, they might feel that way because that's something they can't do. But William Knight is an absolute athletic specimen and put the lights out on Fabio Cherant. And that was beautiful, especially the poetic justice of him screaming at him after when he's knocked out, just because the guy was talking a little dirt on his name before the fight.
Paul Felder was like, he's being irresponsible, DC, or whatever, and then he just, boom, knocks him right out. I'm like, dude, there's nothing irresponsible about being that size. That guy could do whatever he wants. He's built like he's a superhero.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
And
took me out there. It's all good.
No,
I was gonna say that's how you know that you have. Now you're taking out Alex. You know you have a lot of power when you hit someone at an awkward angle with a completely unathletic stance going on, kind of even looking away, and you still knock him out. Every circumstance is wrong for a good hit, and he still gets knocked out.
I mean, Israel
looked like he barely touched
out Robert Whittaker. That looks like people call that beautiful, but William Knight, they call it not as good. William Knight's looked more safe than me. Israel against Rob, he's like, way out here, dude. And I'm sure it was technically brilliant, and I can draw the Fibonacci sequence and make sure that it's perfect. I'm sure that's the truth, But I'm just saying, what angle are these guys having where they're sitting down lowered, looking up at the cage, and then they're judging William Knight over here when he pulls off a spectacular knockout? It's like when Corey Sandhagen draws Frankie Edgar in, you can do that. It's like a tennis racket, right? A tennis racket has a sweet spot. They're all just trying to draw them into that sweet spot. However you do it, that's your art. That's your art aspect of it. It's mixed martial arts, It's not mixed martial science. And that's why theories are just that. Without experience, theories are just that. They're inexperienced. But my biggest thing was this. Paul Felder, you can't get through a fight without getting completely destroyed, lung removed, compartment syndrome, crack. Paul Felder goes and loses to Mike Perry and fights a completely irresponsible fight. It's like, dude, you fight irresponsibly. Like, don't talk about William Knight over here, man. William Knight can take a couple punches to that Superman freaking ab girdle he had going on.
And
He was
speaking of
sure
irresponsible, speaking of irresponsible, I'd like to jump to another fight on the card, which it would have been irresponsible to take this guy. What's his name? Sedyakub Kakaragmanov. It would have been very irresponsible to take him on such short notice, but it was the right pick. Sometimes the irresponsible thing is the right thing to do, and we all bet on Trevin Jones just because he was in there he was scheduled to be in so many fights so recently, but hey, maybe that was a little bit too much preparing, and we hear that sometimes in fighting. It would have been irresponsible to take the other guy, but it was the right pick. The guy got choked out unconscious. Another guy who got choked out unconscious, let it go all the way, didn't tap out, let his whole body go limp.
Well, not his whole body. There's one part that stays rock hard when you're getting choked.
Brings us back to Luke in his closet with a belt around his neck.
Wow, exactly. We got to that again, second time. Let's keep this thing going.
So, listen, we got a little off track here. Bea Malecki really let us down. I mean, when you look at two ladies,
not us.
No. I'm just saying, she let the world of aesthetics down, because if you're just looking at two athletes and one of them is towering over the other like that, I mean, look, all props to Josie Nunes. Like, when you're a little Tasmanian devil like that, you come in, you're going to win a lot of fans going and beating a big girl up like that. Like, that's like the school bully, you know what I mean? You're going up and standing up to the school bully. But Bea Malecki, you couldn't have fought a worse fight. How many punches did you want to let that chick land? This isn't Muay Thai, chick. I know that you were used to fighting that kickboxing style. These little tiny gloves, it hurts like shit to get punched in the freaking wrist, like with those limp-ass wrists. You want to get punched in those little chick wrists, dishwashing wrists? Come on now. So she was taking way too many shots just doing this. And I was kind of for it for a minute. I'm like, she's going to kind of tire her out. We know Nunes can't do this for 3 rounds against a big chick like that. So if she can just let her kind of like do Black Panther style, like absorb all of the animosity and then unleash, like, I was hoping that's what she was going to do, but nah, it didn't happen.
Have you seen Black Panther?
I have not seen Black Panther.
Okay, I didn't think that had anything to do with the movie. Like, I've seen it a couple times.
I thought it was suit of armor. If like you try to shoot Black Panther's armor, it absorbs it.
I don't know, man.
And it actually powers him up.
Nerd.
It actually powers him up. I know the comic.
No nerd. No idea. I'm not a nerd, and I'm definitely not nerd enough to know the comic books.
Listen, I know the comic books because my friend explained it to me. Right? I never read the comic books.
He doesn't read at all.
Fair enough.
No reading going
on.
I do read. I read scripture only, though. I only read the Bible because I decided that nothing else. Why read anything else? Just only read the Bible, and then you're good. You don't need to worry about because I was so worried about absorbing propaganda. That's the thing.
Yeah, you're worried about reading propaganda. You're reading one of the books that's been altered more than anything else in the world. Why don't you just go to King James' house and have him tell you what happened? Because he liked to chop out some parts, put some bits in, just to get us to be a little bit more docile.
Oh man, Alex is going through changes. I think I could point to one catalyst, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
What's the catalyst? Losing money?
No.
Philosophy courses in college taught me that, buddy.
Gotcha. Wow. Before we break down the card, we got Paul versus Woodley coming up at the end of the month. I just wanted to say, that's coming up. Who do you guys got in that fight? Now, let's just throw it out there right here, right now. I just saw it on Tapology. Before we break down, Bryan, Kelleher, Austin, Lingo, Pantoja, 3 people I picked. You guys switched me up to Kelleher, but I called those 3. We'll get into those in a minute. But Jake Paul versus TYRON Woodley. What do you guys think about that? Dan, I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna grab a beer.
Well, number one, I think it's funny that it's on Tapology, right? That was the first thing I noticed today. I was like, damn, this is legit. And with it being legit, is the legit fighter who is headlining that card. That's right. The infamous Jake Paul is going to destroy TYRON Woodley. Listen, we all know as MMA fans, Woodley's background coming off, 6 fights now where he hasn't even won a round?
I honestly don't even know who those people are.
Yeah, there we go. There's our boy.
I love how Alex is just looking like he's just resting his hand, but it looks like he's like, oh, Jake, shucks, man. What do you got to say? Anyway.
Yeah, I'll take Jake Paul in this. And also, the machine has to keep going. via a Paul victory. Okay, the machine doesn't keep going if Tyron Woodley wins. This is a moneymaker that's never going to stop until he actually reaches that pinnacle, like his brother fighting Mayweather. Logan Paul knows that he's not as good as Jake Paul, so he's like, I need to get the big fight where, you know, he can't go any higher than a Mayweather fight, right? So he had to get in early before it's exposed that he's not as good as his brother. His brother can get up a little bit higher based on guys that, you know, are dead up, washed in their career. But he's going to have some more fights. It doesn't end here. Jake Paul with the knockout.
Alex, what do you think about Jake Paul versus Ben Askren?
Please don't ask me any dumb questions.
Listen, I think Tyron Woodley is going to defend my honor and the honor of other MMA journalists such as ourselves who have been covering the sport, you know, in the press conferences. A lot of people don't even get to ask Jake Paul a question. You guys didn't. You guys didn't get to be called an idiot by Jake Paul. So what's that make you? Even bigger idiots than me. So you know what? Tyron Woodley's going to go out there. He's going to defend my honor, and then he's going to come on the show. He actually told me that specifically.
That's amazing, dude. So,
Wow.
Listen, I want everybody to know when Alex got that response from Jake Paul, he was asking him, are you going to fight Tyron Woodley next? And now he is fighting Tyron Woodley next. So you got to give it to Alex. He did ask an appropriate question. It wasn't a dumb question.
And he did know Tyron Woodley because Tyron Woodley was in his locker room before the fight against Ben Askren. So he did know him. But no, that's how you're supposed to do it. That's Chael Sonnen 101. You don't answer questions. You field questions. And I understand. I'm part of the game. It couldn't have worked out better for me.
Neil Magny matters.
Now I'm just sitting here looking like a genius.
Well, yeah, we did get to ask Ben Askren a question. I got to ask Ben Askren what he thought about Cardano. And at that moment, I believe Cardano was under $1. Now Cardano was above $2.50. Not financial advice. Just saying, guys. Ben Askren.
Luke, stop pumping these shit coins. Stop pumping them, all right? I know we all know you're using our big platform to pump and dump these coins. You're getting all of our fans, our followers, the people who support us to buy your coin just so you can sell it when it gets hot. Don't do that. Hey, I love you guys. I would never do such a thing. But Dogecoin, if you really want to buy it,
Is what it is, and I can't change the past. And
Do not mention that coin on here. Do not. Why would you do that to me? Anyway,
They all hand you checks. Bing, 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 bing.
all right. So let's talk about the other fights. I guess I have to give my opinion.
but Nunes. No, let me talk Nunes because I actually took Nunes and I'm a supporter. It's her 6th knockout and she only has like 9 wins. You don't see women knock other women dead like this. I don't know what they're feeding that girl down in Brazil, but give her more of it. I'm taking her to the bank.
I love it, and I wish that you just were a little bit
And the
more
fact that
clear.
you gave my mom, Bea Malecki, as a lock of the night, it made me sick to my stomach.
Say your mom?
Yeah, my mother. Luke gave our mother, Bea Malecki, part of a perfect parlay. Oh, his hottest picks of the night. He gives her Bea Malecki. I say, Mom, you better throw your phone away and never talk to that boy again.
You made it sound like Bea Malecki's your mom. You made my mom Bea Malecki.
No. Basically, you know, our mom is a fan of the show. I was talking to my mom yesterday. Things have gotten out of hand quick since I've left home. I'm in New York City, everybody. That's where I am right now, and my mom lives on a farm somewhere. So basically, you know, help her soul. You know, she's just like a podunk redneck out there in the South. You know, so she gets into DraftKings because she's a fan of this podcast. All of a sudden, I'm talking to her today. I'm like, hey, Mom, how often are you using DraftKings? And we sipped it out that it's every day.
Every single day. Philly, short on 2 turtles trying to cross the road. Which one's going to be faster if DraftKings had odds on it?
And I just wish, Alex, that you were a little bit more clear. I think what you need to do is go downstairs and tell Mom, get off the internet because it's slowing your connection down a little bit over there.
Dude, I can't stop her. She's addicted. I gave her 1-800-GAMBLER. I gave her everything I could possibly do. But, hey, apart from that, you know, this Bea Malecki thing, we have a very good record on betting against women who have OnlyFans accounts and men. Diego Sanchez, he has an OnlyFans account. I mean, maybe come October when they stop letting women get nude on it and men, maybe that'll change things a little bit if they start giving out a little bit of technique or something like that, giving BJJ instructionals on it like some of my friends do. But, you know, I'd say you fade every single fighter who has an OnlyFans account and anybody who even goes on OnlyFans for that matter.
God, man, woman, dog.
Yeah, you're saying this because you're anti-free speech and not a true patriot. That's what.
Women.
No, I want the ladies. I want the ladies to go all out on OnlyFans, especially if they're going to go out there and get knocked dead in one round. That's the only way they're going to be making any money. And while we're on the topic of OnlyFans, I just want to give my my condolences to Lisa Ann's career. You know, she made me to a man. She just retired from the game. If anybody doesn't know who it is, Nailin Palin, go on that. That'll change your life, but not for too long because she's done, guys. I'm sorry. She's 49 years old. She's about to be 50.
I think she has enough content out there for her career to last a long, long time. Don't you worry.
Money add then multiply. I call it mathematics.
All right. So, after Bryan, Kelleher, Austin Lingo, and Pantoja fought, you know, here's what I'll say about the Lingo fight. We have a guy in the group, Greg. He's in the Discord. He was talking about it, and he called it perfectly. He was like, "Man, he bet on Saldana, and after round one, he was like, Saldana's done. Damn it!" And he called it. These leg injuries are, you know, I don't know. It's like this. This is what I was saying that night in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it's a lot of fun. We have like women in the Discord. We have men in the Discord. Feel free to join. If you're somebody who loves MMA and doesn't have anybody to watch it with, there are people like you out there who exist, whose friends would rather be out at some Montgomery Gentry concert or something in the sand with their toes in the water and eating fried chicken. We like spend our Saturday nights watching fights. And I don't care if I have to do it at a bar because I'm somewhere where I don't have cable. I don't care if I have to do it on my cell phone because I'm in a car. I don't care if I have to do it in the bathroom at a wedding. I don't care if I have to do it on my couch by myself while my girlfriend sleeps, okay? I don't care. I will be watching the fights every Saturday. That's what we do. So if you like watching fights, need people to talk to while you're watching the fights, join our Discord. It's completely free. We post our picks, all of the bets that we make, we screenshot, we put in the Discord. So join the Discord. But in the Discord, we were talking about this, and we said, yeah, like these leg injuries, they only really inhibit people who are not fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like people who, and by that I just mean don't fight. They don't fight through it, right? I'm not saying Saldana didn't do that, but I'm just saying like you have guys who are athletes, you have guys who are exhibitionists, right? Saldana was putting on an exhibition in round one, but he went on to lose, right? Yeah, he went on to lose. So just wanted to make sure I was correct there. I watched a lot of fights and had a lot of Miller Lights. So it over the past couple of days. So basically,
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I'm on a podcast with such a drunkard lush like yourself.
Well, I had to finish the beers so that I didn't drink them. Like I had to finish. You know what I mean? I couldn't go into the next week with the last week's beers. You know what I mean?
I had to finish the beers, so I didn't drink them.
You can't go into a week with beers from the previous week. But
guys, fucking Yogi Berra over here.
It's just a Jersey thing. What does that mean?
More like Wade Boggs.
Yeah.
All right, listen. What do you guys have to say for yourself? Pantoja, he did what we thought we were gonna do, what he was gonna do. But Roy Val, I mean, dude, Roy Val's just so fun to watch. Like, never cut him. Like, you know, that's my opinion on that. Austin Hubbard.
I mean, I thought Pantoja lost the first round. He came back hard. He came back ready to fight. I thought that Roy Val had the first round, and I was like, oh shit, dude. Did I go against my boy? Did my heart? Should I have went with my heart instead of my brain? Pantoja, he's an old man. I should have went with Roy Val, but Pantoja came out and he did it right. And now he's next up for a title shot against a guy he's already beat 2 times. Once 26-30 and another time by a submission. So that's an interesting fight. I think Brandon Moreno's gotten a whole lot better since then, but still, I mean, you have that in the back of your head. You've lost to this guy twice, a rubber match with a guy you've never even beat. It's something great.
Yeah, this fight was disrespected and put on the first fight of the main card. You kidding? It's a big fight in the flyweight division. Love Brandon Royval. I just feel like he's not at the level of those 3, 4, 5 actual title challengers. He's like right below that, and he'll mess up everyone leading up to that point. So much fun to watch, like Luke said, and Pantoja. I mean, we'll see what happens in the title fight. I personally think that Moreno has hit like a new peak that'll probably take him over Pantoja, but yeah, he actually did have to come back. I agree with you, Alex, that he lost that first round, and boy, did he come back in the second. Beautiful submission.
Okay, so I mean, there was plenty of other fights we could really get. I mean, there's 4 more fights that we really haven't talked about. Like the Bryan Kelleher win, I just think that was just an amazing job of veteranship by Bryan Kelleher. And I've talked a lot of shit about Bryan Kelleher, and I'll just give credit where credit is due. You know, he rinsed and repeated that whole fight. Pilarte sucks. Couldn't get up off his back. Never made the decision to even try to. Pilarte will never be somebody I'll ever bet on. Glad I switched to Kelleher, so thank you guys there. I just wanted the answer to not be Kelleher, and that just wasn't going to be. It's so funny because there's so many guys who I want to bet on, right? Good example is the fight we're about to break down. Edson Barboza versus Giga Chikadze, right? I love Giga so much, but it's like, damn, Edson's been on such a tear. I wish I felt better about picking Giga here. And it's like with Bryan Kelleher, it's like, I don't really believe in him that much, but they seem to be just lobbing him softball after softball. Hunter Azure one, I think, was crazy. I really thought Hunter Azure was going to whoop him in that fight. I mean, I thought he was the better athlete, but yeah, just crazy. I feel like they're just softballing Bryan Kelleher and like giving him matches he can either destroy and get highlight reels in or just wins. You know what I mean? And he needed to just get that easy win, I feel like, and he did what he needed to do. So we don't need to spend too much time talking about it. If you want to mention something about the Kelleher fight, Alex, feel free, or the Lingo fight. But I'd really like to talk about this Austin Hubbard fight because I think it says a lot about how I'm going to bet in the future.
I like this call out. I like Bryan Kelleher's call out. You know, Sugar Sean O'Malley. I mean, that's another guy that Sugar Sean O'Malley could probably beat. In my opinion, I think the Sugar Show could beat him, but I don't know if Sean O'Malley's going to take.
I don't think that. I think that Bryan Kelleher.
I think he's too small.
Dude, but Bryan Kelleher covers distance so well, dude. He's so good at he might be small, but he gets long with his jab, and he just when he starts that jab, it's like in a VR video game when you like point and hyper leap, like he closes distance quick, and he's a great wrestler. I feel like Sugar Sean loses that fight, to be honest. It's not a fight Sugar Sean's going to take, so it's not a good call out for Bryan Kelleher because he's constantly calling for it and he never gets it. So it makes him look weak, makes him look stupid. So Bryan Kelleher needs to call out somebody like Rafael Dos Anjos. And I know that's not who in his weight class, but I'm saying somebody like that.
I mean, Sugar Sean needs to fight somebody in the top 15 eventually. He has to. And Bryan Kelleher might be the easiest guy for him in the top 15, in my opinion. Like, what's he going to fight? Marlon Vieira again? Like,
but Sugar Sean's kind of an easy fight for Kelleher, and I think in Kelleher's mind. And that's the thing. Kelleher is not going to get anything handed to him. He's going to have to put on his work boots, put on his hard hat, and go to work. And he's going to have to chip off these guys that they give him easy. And every time he gets the mic, he's got to call for a guy that he can get that is been a champion before, but is on his way out, or been a title contender. That's who he needs to call out. Somebody like that. Somebody. What division is he in? 145, right?
35.
135. Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo would be a perfect call out for Bryan Kelleher.
But Jose Aldo ruins him.
But
Jose Aldo ruins Bryan Kelleher.
It's a main event or it's a co-main event. That's the thing. It's a main or co-main, and that's what Bryan Kelleher needs. He doesn't need Sugar Sean's opening these cards. Sugar Sean's not co-main necessarily, nor is he even caring about place. Like Sugar Sean he's on the pay-per-view or he's the headline spot, and I'm just saying like that's not Kelleher needs to call for these veterans. Like he needs to get a Jose Aldo 135. Needs to get. I mean, I think he could get his hands on. He probably won't get the Aldo fight at this point because Aldo keeps fucking winning. But the next fight is maybe that Munoz call out, something like that. Call out Pedro Munoz. Pedro would take the fight. That's a good call. And then you get the Aldo call out, or the Dillashaw call out, or the Sandhagen. Sandhagen's another fight. He could get a Sandhagen fight.
But I don't think he beats any of those guys. I don't think he beats a single one of those guys.
Frankie Edgar. I think
there you go.
He could get a Frankie Edgar fight.
There you go.
The thing is also that it doesn't matter if he beats him. It's just about moving up the card. It's just about moving up the rankings, getting into the embedded, getting into something like that. That's what it's about for Kelleher right now. I mean, that's the next move. We'll cross the bridge when we get to it in Jose Aldo or Corey Sandhagen. Yeah, you might lose, but you're not going backwards. You're going forward. So fail forward.
True.
Yeah.
Listen, if anybody wants me as their manager, I would love more money in my life. And I would also love free tickets to shows. So I see who these people get as their managers, and they're a bunch of drunk idiots too. So I'll quit drinking to be your manager. How about that? The second I have something worth quitting drinking for, I'll swear I'll stop. So go ahead and
you sound like Anthony Pettis.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault that everything's just working out well already.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
All right, so listen, we got Austin Hubbard, complete disappointment. They call him Thud for a reason. He walks like a caveman. He's completely flat-footed. He looks like he used to wear Vans, you know what I mean, like skateboarding shoes to soccer practice. Like this guy has completely flat feet. They would not draft him into the military because he is so flat-footed. And Austin Hubbard went in there and got beat by an old man. It changed my way of betting. That's the main fight. That was the fight on the card that changed my way of betting. I can forgive myself for Bea Malecki being wrong. I can forgive myself for Chase Sherman being wrong, and I can forgive myself for Clay Guida being wrong. I can't forgive myself for Austin Hubbard being wrong. That was a fight he was supposed to win. That's a 9-year age gap. He's been in there with studs like Selecki. He's been in there with studs like Max Roskop, quitter or not. Doesn't matter. I'm just saying, for Austin Hubbard to go in there and get just beat, you know what I mean, by that old guy. I mean, Alex.
I mean, I thought he won the first round. Personally, I think he might have blew his load a little bit in the first round. And after the first round, he was very, very flat-footed. You say Vans, I say Etnies. You know, this guy, he's wearing those big clunky shoes. He's walking around like his feet weigh 30 pounds. I don't know. I mean, Austin Hubbard ruined all my parlays. So after that, I was kind of down and out. Every single other fight that I had on those parlays won, except for Austin Hubbard. I had big paydays on the horizon, and I was like, oh, Hubbard. I even put a solo bet on Hubbard because I was so confident in that fight. I was like, oh, this old man with a handlebar mustache, he punches that thing right off of him. Brock Lesnar, Frank Mazzagatti? Is that his name? Steve Mazzagatti, mute Mike. But yeah, Steve Mazzagatti. So that's how I thought the fight was going to go. I was so confident I put another bet on the Hubbard just a solo. I was feeling hot after I won my preseason NFL game.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
And if only I had one of you guys to do that for me there, maybe I would have stuck around for the next few.
You should have listened to me in my breakdown of the fight and my pick when I picked Vince Pichel, very confident. And listen, so much disrespect on this podcast of Vince Pichel. You guys stupid? I don't care about his dumb mustache. He goes in there and he's lighting up Austin Hubbard. Again, like you said, 9 years younger. And Hubbard's good and he looked decent in the fight. It's not like Hubbard blew it. Vince Pichel won it. He took it. And that's been his MO his whole UFC career. He's 7-2 for a reason. They don't give him easy fights. They don't give him stylistically easy fights. They're always hard. He always finds his way through. So that's what I saw. That's what I saw leading up to the fight, and that's exactly what happened. Vince Pichel, baby, I love you. Let's get you on the show.
Yeah, that's your moment. There you go. You got to have it because you did pick Vince Pichel, and I felt, it's like I've been hurt before, right? I've been hurt before, and you got to kill your darlings. You gotta hurt them before they can hurt you, right? And it's like I've seen Chuck Liddell go down. I've seen him go down again. I've seen him come back and go down to Tito. All right. And for the love of God, Anderson Silva, be the Spider-Man of my dreams and not only beat a boxer for us, but then go beat Tito for us, please, and make it brutal. Throw a knee in there. Box him, but throw a knee. I don't even care. Knee him, Anderson. Knee him. I actually like Tito Ortiz a lot, to be honest with you guys, but it did hurt me to see him beat up Chuck Liddell. That was because that's just that was not fair at all. I think Tito is I don't know what to say about that. That was just that was hurtful. That one hurt. You know what I mean?
But then again, if somebody knocked me out twice, I don't care if they're on a girder or not. I'll stiff them right before they're in the casket. As far as I'm concerned,
that fight really did hurt him. That fight did hurt Luke. Did you see that? It's the only thing that ever has made Luke speechless. He's talking about Tito and Chuck.
I was just thinking about it.
I don't know what to say about the fight. I don't know.
Listen, Chuck didn't need to do that fight, and I just feel like it was.
Again. Oh shit.
Anderson, you need to avenge Chuck. All right? And then just keep doing what you're doing, Anderson. You're doing it perfectly. I love that he didn't take the bait and go do an exhibition with Logan Paul. He was like, no, it'll be a boxing match. He's like, it'll be a regular boxing match. He's a young man. This is good for him. It'll be good. And I love that. Anderson, keep doing what you're doing. So what were we even talking about? I can forgive myself for all those things. Austin Hubbard, the thing about Austin Hubbard, he's flat-footed, has no volume. He doesn't have any volume. And when he does throw punches, they're this. And it's just him just punching the air. Yeah, dude. Like, some of these kids, man, they don't want the fight to start. It's like watching people doing porn for their first time, and they just don't know how to start it. It's like, yo, get in there and fight. Like, I don't know.
And that's why it's tough to get a real veteran like Lisa Ann out of the game. That's why it's so tough for me. The saddest day of my life.
because I don't even want to get into it. But so we got Trevin Jones. We talked about that one, Alex. You already broke that one down in a lot of ways. All respect to Trevin Jones. Trevin, take it on the chin, move on, get back to your winning ways, because you were dicked around, jerked here, jerked there, left, right, all different sorts of ways, preparing for all different sorts of bids. You said yes to every single one of them. So open message, open letter to Trevin Jones. Do not let this hurt your pride at all. You didn't tap either. All these fucking tap artists, all these. I don't even tap when I'm at jiu-jitsu where I pay them to do it. I go to jiu-jitsu. I pay people, and sometimes I'll just think, fuck it, and just let them choke me out. That's actually never happened. I've never done that. But I'm just saying, I've gotten choked. I always tap at jiu-jitsu, but I'm getting a little out of hand. But I'm just saying, I have gotten choked to sleep at a place where I pay to do it. You're getting paid, and you are unwilling to get choked to sleep, where a ref's there, and not only a ref, but a medical staff, and not only a medical staff, but insurance cover you. I don't even have health insurance.
And on top of that, you get double the money if you win. So if you don't go out and the guy tires his arms out and you get out of that, and by somehow God's graces, you come back to win that fight after the hard choke. I mean, no heart for most of these guys, but Trevin Jones and Sasha Politnikov, all heart. You know, they're not tapping out to rear nakeds, guillotines, none of that shit. And get out of here with all that.
You get like a euphoria when you come out of the choke. Like you feel great.
Dude, me and my friends used to choke each other out on purpose.
Number 3.
Me and my friends used to choke each other out on purpose to get high as kids. You know?
All right. Say that you didn't actually do that, though, so we can do ads on this video.
I didn't actually do that.
It was a joke. We're joking.
It was a joke?
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
Google. All right. So, Chase Sherman. Let me have a spotlight for a second here on this one. Hey Chase. What'd I tell you? You have no heart. You're yellow. Mississippi dumbass. Chase Sherman, open invitation. I'll double leg you any day of the week. Parker Porker double leg you from 50 yards out. Chase Sherman, I will put the singlet on. I will come to your state. I will wrestle you in any parking lot in Mississippi. I'll roll the mats out. I got 2 5x5 mats, all right? I'll bring them in my truck. I'll throw them down on a Walmart parking lot, and I'll wrestle you. Or if you want to go bare knuckle, we'll go bare knuckle, because I know you ain't got no heart. You ain't got no heart, and you ain't got no speed. You were in there with a man twice your size who couldn't outspeed it. How you going to outspeed me? How you going to outspeed Hot Hands? You ain't. Chase, open call out. Both Chases. Chase Hooper, Chase Sherman. I'm going on a Chase ass-beating tour this year. So... Worldwide.
The best part about your ball work is that you wear those lame-ass safety goggles, because even the ball can hit you back, because you have no head movement. You're
if I had them here, I'd show you. Those safety goggles are scarred all to shit. They have scars and slashes all over them from that string, that nylon string that whips back, and that would have been my retina if I didn't wear those safety goggles. So if you're out there and you have a boxing ball, make sure you're wearing those safety goggles. I don't ever want to. That's not how you practice. Just like when you get on a bike, you put a helmet on, because safety is cool. Don't ever let this fucking degenerate idiot who lost a lot of money this weekend and also probably drank away half his brain cells. Don't ever let him tell you what to do, all right?
I don't drink.
Now. All right. I never drink. I
only drink out of shoes.
So what do you guys have to say about that? Parker Porter, amazing performance. All the heart in the world. Wide body like William Knight. Love Parker Porter, double P certified, picking him in his next fight. I'm never going to fade Parker Porter again. He fought John Jones. It's one of the greats. One of the greats light heavyweights.
I'll say this about Chase Sherman. Did you guys pick up on this where his feet are like so close together? He's standing straight up and down.
So are his eyes. His eyes are so close together too.
That might be true. I haven't gotten that close to see his eyes, but he would get like feinted by Parker Porter, and then because his feet are so close together, standing straight up, he'd be like wobbling and falling, just looking so unathletic. And you'd have to think he's probably one of the more athletic heavyweights just based on like his stature and weight and everything. Like, dude, be athletic. You're just like, I don't even know. He just looks like an idiot out there.
Yes. And we talked about the main event, so I feel like we don't need to get into it. But I was happy to see Marco Madsen win, knowing that his wife was diagnosed with MS. I mean, I really felt for him. Marco Madsen, I wanted to root against you for patriotism, but then I realized the enemy of my enemy, which is debilitating disease, is my friend, and you became my friend that night, and I was happy to see you beat Clay Guida, get the nod. And Alex, what did you have to say about that fight? Is that when you stopped watching? Is that when you stopped watching?
I didn't watch that fight, but I saw it was a split decision.
Don't worry. Hey, don't worry. Don't break your back explaining something you didn't see. All right? That's good, man.
Yeah, we're really dying to hear how you heard that it was a split decision. But no, honestly, it wasn't even the most entertaining fight of all time. I was looking to see more fireworks out of Clay.
I wanted more wrestling.
What was the distance? Did he even go for any takedowns?
Nobody did. Hardly anyone did. Mark did, but hardly anyone did. I wanted to see more wrestling. But anyway, listen, there's only 12
wrestling.
There's only 12 fights lined up for next week's card. Barboza versus Chikadze. That's UFC Vegas 35. There's only 12 more fights. So we can break them down for you guys. We're gonna do. Bidman has a ton of notes. I have some notes. We have all our predictions. I just don't want to we've already been talking for about 45 minutes here. So usually we only like to do about 30 with the recap. So I don't want to make this a super long episode. So I'm gonna ask my boys here, not for lack of value, but just really let's consolidate and not have a lot of word salad in our breakdown of the early prelims or early predictions.
Sounds good.
So we already broke down Jared Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum. I was the lone soldier to pick Jared Cannonier. We're already on to the next. It was a wonderful card. It had everything. It had knockouts, people getting choked to sleep. It had people fighting close wars. It had dominant decisions. I mean, that card had it all. It was one of the best cards I've ever seen. I loved it. Had a lot of fun watching it, but it's on to the next. And I got a full belly full of UFC, but
I've got an insatiable appetite for life, and I want more.
So Barboza versus Chikadze. Let's start at the top of the card. Like I said before, guys, I love Giga Chikadze, and I just want to keep picking him, right? But it's this is a near even lineup, and this is kind of how I see this one. I feel like Barboza, he's one of those deceivingly young guys that feels old, and Chikadze's one of those deceivingly old guys that feels young, right? It feels like Giga's just hitting the scene, he's 25. He's 33 years old. Barboza's been around the block, but he's 35. He's not lost a step. I mean, if Clay Guidi can come in looking like he looked, I expect Barboza to look amazing, and he's on a 2-fight win streak, right? So Tapology has 61% for Barboza at this point early. And if you look at his record, like I said, he's coming off back-to-back wins. Shane Burgos, never thought he had a chance in hell to finish Shane Burgos, let alone in round 3. Marquand Amirkhani, again, I wanted to fade him both times here and came up short fading him. But then it's in decisions like Felder and Ige, it's you'd expect Barboza to reign supreme on them all day long, right? So it's hard to get a beat for Edson, right? Where's he at? People have said that he didn't like living in Jersey during the winter. Now he's in Florida, he's happier, right? But he's lost since he's moved to Florida. So I don't know if I agree with that narrative. His kicks are deadly. His kicks are amazing. I think Chikadze's there to be kicked because of what he wants to do in his game. This is going to be a kickboxing fight. I'm going to roll with Giga, man. I'm going to roll with Giga. I think Kings MMA needs to get one back. They're a great gym. They're not going to lose 2 in a row. Kelvin's a disappointment. He's hanging out with Henry at the ranch, like I said, licking toads, doing God knows what with him and Mike Tyson. So it's how do you expect him to come in there? But he still fought a pretty good fight. So if a barely making weight Kelvin Gastelum can go in there and almost compete with Jared Cannonier, I think a Giga Chikadze can go in there and ninja out Edson Barboza. Alex, Dan, what are your thoughts on the main event? Let's start at the top. Let's break it down.
Alex, this is your guy. I'm going to let you go. I know you got strong feelings.
Yeah,
they're kind of both your guy, aren't they, Alex? You kind of like both these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with both these guys for a while. I like them a lot. This is going to be a very, very, very tough fight for me to call. Tough fight for me to watch. Part of me just wants to sit back and watch the fireworks, but I don't know. I think that I think Edson might be able to get it done against Giga, and you guys know Georgia's always on my mind, but you look at the guys Giga's fought in comparison to who Edson has fought, the guys that Edson has lost to are much greater than the guys that Giga has, and if he's sitting here getting choked out by Austin Springer, I think Edson might be able to get it to the ground. I know we don't really know Edson as a grappler, but if it hits the ground, Edson's definitely the guy who has the better grappling, no doubt in my mind. So I don't know. It really depends on the scales for me because Edson Barboza is a guy who cuts a lot of weight, but I think I might roll with Edson for now just because his strength of schedule is much greater and he's been on fire lately. He even won that fight against Dan Ige, in my opinion. So I think he wins this and gets a title shot.
And just to comment on that before you speak, Dan, Alex, I would say that based on the fact that Kelvin couldn't take Jared Cannonier down at all, that Edson's not taking down Giga, right? But yeah. Edson took Marquand Amirkhani down and was able to secure the win with that. So not that Mark Amirkhan is like known for his takedown defense, but he's out there. SPG Ireland, I mean, those guys know a thing or two about takedown defense. Conor did really well in the Khabib fight. I mean, let's be real. Like when he did get taken down, he didn't need a ton of damage in that first round, like at all. You know, good guard retention, decent defense, right? I know that's kind of being overly generous to Conor McGregor when nobody wants to be right now, but Conor McGregor, we got no problems here with you, man. I hope you don't have any problems with us. So.
No problem, mate, yeah? No fucking problem.
DC is a fat ass. Call him a fat ass again, and tell Michael Bisping, box DC and box Michael Bisping. You'll fucking box those guys both up. How about that? Go ahead and do that. So, make them rich. Make their fucking day.
And Amirkhan is a great grappler. That's something I just wanted to put out there. Amirkhan is a very good grappler, and that's most of his game is taking people down and submitting them.
I guess who's definitely not going to be expecting it? Giga. He does not. You know, he probably asked for this fight. Yeah, give me a main event against a striker. And what's Edson going to do? Win? Because he's a veteran, and he's the same kind of guy as Jose Aldo. He's a competitor. Fuck what Khabib said. Yo, Khabib's a mark, dude. Khabib's done. On this podcast, don't bring that Khabib shit around here ever again, dude. It's BJ Penn. You want to talk about the greatest lightweight of all time? It's BJ Penn. That's who the greatest lightweight of all time is. Khabib could never have taken BJ Penn down. Nobody could. Frankie Edgar took him down. He popped right back up. That was the first time, and he was on the downslope of his career. BJ Penn in his prime makes Khabib eat dog shit, okay? Khabib never touches BJ Penn. And if he goes to the island of Hawaii, he's going to learn a thing or two about how they do it on that mountain. Because guess what? Mauna Kea is a lot higher than fucking whatever mountain you have, whatever hill they have in Dagestan, all right? So don't bring that fucking Khabib talk around here ever again on the Discord or otherwise. Bring it. I don't give a fuck because your stats will never add up. Khabib beat a used car salesman and Conor McGregor, who can't stop a takedown, is from Ireland, a country that doesn't even contest wrestling in the Olympics. Khabib never fought a fucking wrestler besides Justin Gaethje, who went into that fight just happy to be there.
You just said that SPG Ireland has good takedown defense and like wrestling. And
but either way, but not compared to Dagestan.
Yeah.
That's like how Khabib's like, I'm a world Sambo champ, and he only fought like 3 guys from his backyard and calls himself a Sambo champ.
And yeah, on top of that, I mean, like Jose Aldo could have retired after his 3rd title defense, right? Like he had so many title defenses. He only lost like his 1st or 2nd fight, and then went on like a 20-fight winning streak. He could have retired after he only beat 3 guys in the UFC or WEC. But yeah, like Khabib has never really been tested by anybody, and he never went to a different weight class. So the fact that he's talking shit on Jose Aldo for no reason when he's retired. Jose Aldo asked for that fight. Jose Aldo wanted to whoop Khabib's ass. So, I mean, who said no? Khabib?
Alex, you might be the only person in the world who looks the way you look that's ever said what you just said. Like, nobody who looks like you would ever say that.
Hey, looks can be deceiving. And the reality is you're absolutely right, Alex. Khabib's an exhibitionist. He's hated hanging out with Mike Tyson. It's like you and Mike Tyson have the same crew. You got fed a bunch of fucking soup cans and got to smash them and then walk away with a billionaire. So why don't you fucking have some respect for Mike Tyson? Why don't you have some fucking self-awareness? And BJ Penn fought Lyoto Machida. BJ Penn puts on a show. BJ Penn fights anybody, any weight, anytime. Khabib almost kills himself getting down to 155 and acts like it's his natural weight. Bro, you weigh 200 now. Like, your natural weight, you want to be eating fucking lamb and tiramisu and fucking hummus all day. You don't want to be fucking cutting weight. So why don't you fight Wonder Boy? Why don't you fight a 170-pound dork that can't wrestle? Like, fight anybody that's not these fucking other 155-pounders. Like, I don't know. I'm over this whole Khabib's the greatest of all time talk. And I think we should just pressure him to defy his mother and come back and just all say he's not the greatest of all time forever, and he'll eventually do it because, you know, he's a competitor. Or is he? We'll see.
We need to get Joshua Fabia on the line. School of self-awareness, okay? Khabib needs self-awareness. Luke, you broke that down for us. Now the solution, Joshua Fabia, school of self-awareness. Maybe he'll move up in weight, have some more fun Khabib fights. Luke, you can fade Khabib. I know you want to, especially moving up to welterweight.
And it's like, oh, I can't do this.
Fight GSP. Fight GSP. Fight old ass GSP. GSP still goes out there and whoops his ass to this day. To this day.
I agree. I think GSP does beat him. And I think GSP is, you know, at least GSP fought outside of his weight class. At least GSP not only fought outside his weight class, he took on the best guy from the lighter weight class, which is arguably harder than any of his 170-pound contenders. He took on BJ Penn. BJ Penn, dude, like, there's no conversation. It's like GSP, Fedor, Anderson, John Jones, BJ Penn. Like, there's so many guys.
Oh, you want to talk about somebody who got fed cans? Shut the fuck up about Fedor.
Fedor fought Nogueira. Fedor fought Krokop. Fedor fought everybody who was in the way at the time. The only people fighting Kansas, that's the people in the UFC. The only people fighting Kansas, that's how people in the UFC. Fedor was the only one actually fighting competition at that time.
As the great and mighty Chael Sonnen once said, anybody can win when the ref's wearing an earpiece, my friend.
Hey, all right. Dan, what do you think about Barboza versus Chikadze? Let's get back on track.
All right. I'm going to give slight lean to Barboza. Throws a little bit more strikes. I believe 1 more strike per minute. Does anyone know about Giga's 5-round experience? I don't know if he has that under his belt. Got to do a little more research, but I know that Edson does. And since moving down to 145, he's looked real good. People have been skeptical about the weight cut. You know, had some troubles at 55, but when it comes to 45, he's looking pretty damn good. Hard to knock him out, so I don't see that coming as far as Giga. So I think it's going to be a back-and-forth fight with Edson having a little bit more volume, which will give him a slight edge and the win at the end of the night. Plus, the wrestling doesn't hurt, you know, actually having wrestling.
Are you talking about Edson?
Yeah.
So, Alex, you picked Giga?
No, I picked
No,
Edson.
he picked Edson.
Interesting. Yeah, I was actually, when you guys were breaking it down, I was kind of thinking, like, man, Edson's looked really good lately. You know, it's the same instinct that I have to pick an Austin Hubbard that I have to pick a Giga, or, you know, and it's like, it's just not there. It's like my perception of how Giga is this new hot shot hitting the scene and Edson's this old hat getting ready to, it's just that perception is not proven correct even recently. So
they're only 3 years apart.
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see how this one shakes out. I really want to see how the weigh-ins look. I want to see what Giga says. I want to see what Edson says, you know, and I want to see how this shakes out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
But my pick now will be Giga. I will not triple certify Edson in these early predictions. I will not do that. I will pick Giga. That's what I was thinking going into this. I don't want to let you guys sway me. But I did watch the whole season of The Ultimate Fighter, so I know me and Alex, after doing a whole Talking Tough season for you guys, I know that we have the lock on this one. So be careful what Dan says. Maybe me and Alex are too close to the varsity trees, but Dan has not watched a single episode of Tough. So
I'm just going to toss that to you guys. I'm just going to toss it to you.
No. You looked at these guys' records. Let us know what you think about Gilbert Urbina versus what? I said you looked at the guy's record, right?
The Batman.
Wait, what?
What do you got?
I cut out for a sec. What fight are we on?
We're
Bryan
on the next one. Bryan Battle versus
Fighter Tournament Championship. I want to get yours first because we watched the whole Ultimate Fighter season. So I want you to tell us what you think because you don't have any pre-existing biases. So
okay. Well, I'm literally just going off of like looking at records and things like that. I know that Gilbert.
That's what we do every week. That's what we do every week. So
yeah. Well, I look at the film. I look at the fights. That's what I do. But I'm looking at Gilbert here. He's fought Sean Brady. That's some good experience right there. Does he have any like intangible benefits? Does he have a longer reach? I'm seeing here that he has a 74-inch reach versus battles. What do we got for him? No reach listed.
He's long though.
His nickname is Pooh Bear, so I don't know what that says about him. But man, give me Gilbert. Give me Gilbert. I like the experience. I like what he's bringing to the table. Not that I have ever really seen him fight, but I think he might be related to Gilbert Burns, and that's good enough for me.
All right. Well, Dan, let us break it down for you because we did a whole series called Talking Tough. You guys can watch some of the episodes if you want to see our reactions to these episodes. If you haven't watched Ultimate Fighter yet, it's on ESPN Plus. You could binge it. You could just go to ESPN Plus, even though they're a bunch of commie pieces of shit who want to block out Hong Kong and support China, Joe. But hey, whatever. Like we'll still give you that plug, ESPN. Just an act of good faith, so you don't come suicide me, okay? So anyway, you go to ESPN Plus. You watch all the episodes of Ultimate Fighter. It's a nice little Saturday, before the fights, right? I'm always trying to figure out how I should kill time before the fights. You got a nice little block of time. Fast forward through all the bullshit, get to the fights, watch the fights, and then if you watched the Ultimate Fighter, you would know that Gilbert Urbina was not supposed to be in this spot. He actually lost to the person who was supposed to be in this spot, Treson Gore.
What happened?
So Treson Gore was, he's on the fight. He's good. Me and Alex broke this all down. We talked about how he's kind of like, he's like a soldier of Christ, and he would always go up to the guys in the house like he's about to fight beforehand. And Alex, you want to take it over and give him a little explanation?
He would go up to the guys and be like, I love you. I love you, and you're another man of Christ, so, this is going to be a great fight. And then as soon as the guy, started to secede to be like, yeah, we're both men of Christ, I love you too, man. I hope we all get out of here safe. He's like, but I'm going to beat you. Every single time, getting in the guys' heads. But this guy, Treson Gore, this was the most exciting fight out of the two Ultimate Fighter finale fights for me, personally. but because they were getting in each other's face, chirping each other on the face-off. But, Tresean Gore pulled out. Dana White said he's still getting a shot. Apparently he's actually hurt. Maybe I think it was a knee or something of the sorts. But, Tresean Gore, that's how he would get in people's heads. For me personally, I am certainly going with Pooh Bear on this one. I think even the one fight Gilbert Urbina won on the show, I love Gilbert Urbina, but the one fight he won on the show was the guy who came in last minute because the other guy pulled out. So now he has the other hand in the battle right here. He's got the other side of the sword. He's the guy who's filling in for somebody who pulled out. And I think Pooh Bear gets it done. Urbina's only path to victory that I could think of is taking Pooh Bear down. But, I mean, hey, Pooh Bear choked out Petroski, right? Yeah, Petroski. Yeah. So I don't know. I still give the edge to Bryan Battle on almost every front, and he's been preparing for it longer.
For sure. I got to go with Bryan Battle. I mean, beating the favorite of the show in Andre Petroski, a New Jersey guy, a Philly guy, a Mid-Atlantic region guy. Gotta go with Bryan Battle. He smoked. I mean, like that fight with Petroski, I really thought I had Petroski all day in that one, and he finished him. I mean, that was really impressive. So, Dan, what Alex was referencing is later in the night, Andre Petroski, the guy we're talking about, he's fighting Micheal Gilmore. Now, Micheal Gilmore was brought in because one of the folks in the middleweight tournament on the Ultimate Fighter had a knee injury. The doctor said, look, it is what it is. I mean, like, it's going to hurt. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. But, you could fight. And he was like, I'm going to opt not to. So he leaves the house. He leaves. He says, health is your wealth or whatever. And I was like, you don't need your health. Your health's not your wealth when you're not in the UFC yet, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're not an NBA fucking player with a contract over here. But it's like Micheal Gilmore filled in for him, got beat, but now he's getting a shot on the finale against Andre Petroski. Probably going to get beat, I think, against Andre Petroski. We'll get to that later. But point is, for Homeboy to pull out, for Tresean Gore to pull out and it be a knee thing and him still get a shot in the UFC afterwards, man, I tuck his name right next to that other dude's name because it's like, dude, this is the Ultimate Fighter finale. Like, you're saying you have a knee thing? Like, you got a knee thing. Okay. Like,
yeah, but his might have been more serious. Maybe the doctors didn't tell.
We don't know.
We don't know. The doctors told the other guy that he could fight. Maybe Tresean went to the UFC doctors and they were like, listen, man, do not fight. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why Dana White's giving him the pass.
Maybe. You know what? Maybe. But I'm just saying it's pretty soft. And Gilbert Urbina, I don't know. It's just soft. It's soft. It's not the UFC I grew up in where guys, all are showing up hurt, right? It's like these guys nowadays, this is like American Idol, dude. Like, these guys show up, he's like, oh, I'm already in the finals. I can pull out. I don't know if this was his thinking, but to me, it's like, what? You're already in the finals. Now you pull out. And you got to get a shot at. Dana's wiping these guys' butts, dude. Like, everybody's getting their butt wiped. And I'm just sick of the butt wipings. You know what I mean? Like, that's my only problem with the OnlyFans thing is that these girls have OnlyFans. And then they come out and say, I make more money on OnlyFans than I do in the UFC. It's like, yeah, like, chill out, though. Because who's tweeting you out? The UFC. Who's getting you the followers? The UFC. So why don't you chill out? Because there's a lot of people on OnlyFans that are hotter than you that aren't getting the same kind of attention that you are. So, like, I don't know.
Said OnlyFans, very Brazilian there. The OnlyFans.
They're biting the hand that feeds. They're biting the hand that feeds. I'm sick of it. Dana White's taking arrows from all ends, and he's got to get it. It's like that scene in Goodfellas when Henry Hill comes home and his wife puts the gun in his face, and he says to her, he goes, I'm out here fighting for my life in these streets. I got to come home to this. I come home to this. So it's like, that's how I feel like Dana White. He's like, I got to my own people that I'm paying. Like, you're turning the gun on me. Like, this is crazy. So I don't like it. But Kevin Lee versus Daniel Rodriguez. To me, Kevin Lee, man, out of the fire into the fire, right? I mean, it's like he was in there with Sean Brady. I was like, abort. Sean Brady's going to kill you. Sean Brady's not coming off the couch. Sean Brady's not coming off of Barbados or wherever the hell you're hanging out at. Daniel Rodriguez, again, he ain't coming off the couch. I mean, I watched Chael Sonnen break down this fight, and he was like, Daniel Rodriguez, I don't know if he's fought in the UFC. Daniel Rodriguez has been busy in the UFC. Daniel Rodriguez has Tim Means, Gabe Green, Dwight Grant, 3 wins in the UFC since 2020. Then he comes in, loses to Nicholas Dalby. Big disappointment. Can't believe that. Mike Perry beats him. Preston Parsons beats him. Preston Parsons was looking good. Dude, Daniel Rodriguez has 2 wins in 2021 alone. If you don't know about Daniel Rodriguez, you are sleeping during the fucking early fights, my friend, because Daniel Rodriguez is an animal. And he's training with Cowboy Cerrone. He's training with Joe Schilling. He's training with 10th Planet. He's 34, yeah, but I think his skill to beat Kevin Lee, he's hardy, man. He does not want to lose to Kevin Lee. And Kevin Lee is not a fighter, dude. Kevin Lee is a quitter. Quit to Ali Quinta. He quit to Tony Ferguson. He would have quit to fucking Barboza. Barboza had him on stilts, had him on skates, had him on ice. So I think it's I'm going to fade Kevin Lee here. You don't get better at something by not doing it. He's coming off the couch. Unless he was eating steroids for breakfast while he's gone, I don't see a way he comes in here with an advantage. So give me Daniel Rodriguez. I'm done. I'm done fading Daniel Rodriguez. I've been there, done that, and I am not interested in going back there again. So Daniel Rodriguez all day.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the opposite. I'm going to go with Kevin Lee here. We saw Daniel Rodriguez face a wrestler recently in Nicholas Dalby, and he struggled a little bit. He lost that fight by decision. Kevin Lee is a great wrestler. His cardio doesn't always hold up. He usually blows his load in the first round and halfway through the second round. But I think that might be enough. As long as he can stay in there and not quit and not get knocked out, I think that he can get it done. I mean, Daniel Rodriguez has a very slick jiu-jitsu game coming out of 10th Planet, but I see Kevin Lee getting back on the right path here.
I could see Daniel Rodriguez accepting bottom position and losing a decision with Kevin Lee on top for 3 rounds. But something tells me Kevin Lee's head's too small. Rodriguez got a big head. Rodriguez, he lands one clean, he's knocking Kevin Lee out. And I don't think Kevin Lee sitting on the couch, it's not going to be good when he gets that shock of a whop from a Daniel Rodriguez blow who's coming in there mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, Daniel Rodriguez is coming in there to hurt people. And, like, Kevin Lee, you know, I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
I'm also going to side with Alex on this one. I'm going to keep on fading Daniel Rodriguez, and I think this is where the payout's going to come. I don't think Daniel Rodriguez actually comes in there to hurt people. I can't really remember. I mean, the Preston Parsons fight, but besides that, I don't really remember him like really icing dudes like Kevin Lee, Gregor Gillespie, right? Kevin Lee also coming in with the wrestling game. Definitely enough to stifle Daniel Rodriguez. Also, haven't seen him submit anybody. So I just think that Daniel Rodriguez is slightly overrated. He's a very good, mid-level UFC prelim fighter. And, that's all well and good. But Kevin Lee is a main eventer, someone who fights on the main card. And I think his skill level is superior and will probably get the job done.
All right, I switched my pick. Which will be certified Kevin Lee.
We skipped the other Ultimate Fighter finale.
No, we didn't. I'm just going back to Apology. I'm going right in order. So, we did. You're right. No, you're right. All right. Well, Kevin Lee's got a bigger name than either of these guys. He should be the co-main event, let alone the friggin' co-main event. So, all right, Kevin Lee is going to probably win because here's why. He's faster. He's going to get the takedown. He's going to wrestle fuck him for 3 rounds. He's going to ground and pound him for 3 rounds. And, yeah, you're right. Daniel Rodriguez, he's going to accept that bottom position. He's going to be pulling rubber guard and shit. And his boxing's not fast enough for Kevin Lee. You're absolutely right. I mean, he said that shit up with Greg. I saw that in person. I was there live, Madison Square Garden, me and Donald Trump. Womp womp, bow, high kick, knocked him out. And Alex was there too. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna trophy certified Kevin Lee. I wanted if I got any pushback with you guys, I was ready to fold. I was bluffing a little bit there. But we got a tournament championship 135 pounder that's a little bit more important for these guys. Ricky Turcios versus Brad Hiestand. Now, Brad Hiestand, big mouth. I'm not saying he talks a lot. I'm saying he has veneers or just was the son of a horse because his teeth are huge, right? And he's 5-1. He trains with Michael Chiesa and all them out there in the West, And Ricky to Spokane. Ricky, he's good, man. 28. He's team alpha male. He beat guys in Fury. I'm looking at his record right now. He's lost to guys like Mana Martinez, but we see him. He's getting a shot in the UFC too. So it's not anything that he's tough. He's a zombie in there. Like they should call this guy a zombie. He looks like a zombie, he's good. But I think I'm gonna go with Brady on this one, Alex. What do you think? We should have got Dan's pick first, but what do you think, Alex? I'm gonna go with Brady.
I'm going to take Hadouken here. Ricky Turquoise, I think that he gets it done. I know that's not how you pronounce his name, by the way. I'm going with Ricky here, though. I think that he's just got a more diverse skill set.
Ricky Turcios.
Yeah, Turcios. He's just got way more of a diverse skill set, in my opinion. He was already supposed to get the UFC nod before the Ultimate Fighter back in 2020. And guess who he was supposed to fight? Adrian Yanez. So they were pretty high on this guy. You know, he was on the not the Ultimate Fighter, the Contender Series in 2017 as well. So this is a guy the UFC has been looking at for a while. He's been scheduled to fight Adrian Yanez twice, even before he was in the UFC, and it got canceled both times. The second time it was because of the thing that shall not be named, Voldemort. I'm not even going to say why. But, yeah, I think Turcios gets it done. I think he's got a very diverse skill set. He's got great jiu-jitsu, and he's a maniac on the feet. And I think that Brady, he's more of a one-trick pony. He's a takedown guy. He just takes you down and sits on you. He doesn't necessarily even go for submissions or finishes at all. So
No.
I've got to go with Ricky here.
I don't know. That's not what I'm seeing, Alex. I'm looking at Brady's record, and like the only way he's won fights is with finishes, except for like one fight. So that stuck out to me. Also with Turcios, though, he seems like he's more seasoned at this point as far as experience. He's at Team Alpha Male, like you said. He was geared up to fight Yanez, but he did fight Manny Martinez, UFC vet, or at least, yeah, he's got one fight in there. Boston Salmon.
Not a vet.
What's that?
Not a vet.
Not a vet, but I mean, if you fought one
He's
fight.
had UFC experience, is what you're saying.
Yeah. You know, he's fought in Bellator, so I'll go with the guy with the finishes though, because Turcios, he doesn't really have many finishes. His last fight, he won by armbar, which shows me that's kind of low-level competition. If you're a man getting armbarred in an MMA fight, like
Agreed.
So, yeah,
but dude, this guy's fighting in Spokane.
I'm going for finisher Brady.
This guy is not a finisher. Once he started fighting guys on the Ultimate Fighter who actually had some real talent, he didn't. I don't think he finished any of them. Maybe he finished Vince Murdoch. I'm not sure, but I can't quite remember. I wish it was up on Tapology right in front of my face.
I got you. Hold on, let me pull it up.
But
slow your pace down and give me a second, and I can fucking pull it up.
In the first fight, he barely won. And he won by just smothering, grappling, and he's been trying B just like this guy. It's not on Tapology, bro. I'm looking at Tapology. I just said that.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. All right. So
What's that finish?
I don't think
they're all by finish. But who's Jesse Jacobson, a guy who was 0-4, Corey Conway 0-0, Philip Shriver 0-2, Shane Sargent 1-12, Jeff Coleman 0-6. So I mean, if you want to
facts.
If you want to talk about guys who haven't fought anybody, like at least this guy's 4-3. Josh Paiva 10-2. Trent Mayo, MEAUX. Sorry. Miu. 4-1. Gerzon Shaw, 4-5. Steve Garcia, 6-0. Akira Smith, 2-2. Tristan Grimsley, 6-4. And yeah, his first few fights were 0-0, 0-0, 0-1, but those are his first few fights. This guy Brady, he has way less fights, and all of the guys haven't even gotten a win. I think only one of them had a single win. It's 1-12. Yeah, 0-0.
Ricky Turcios is ranked higher in the bantamweight division in the U.S. West. He's 18, whereas Brady's 78. So
Brady's only beaten one fighter outside of the Ultimate Fighter competition that has a win. Shane Sargent, and he's 1-12.
Wow.
So, like every other guy was 0-6, 0-4.
And who is Shane Sargent's one win against, Alex?
I'll look that up right now.
Look that name. While you do
Sean Alexander, and it's not my favorite football player of all time, Sean Alexander.
What's Sean Alexander's record?
0-0. It was their first fight, both of the guys' first fight, and then he went on a 12-fight skid or 13-fight skid right after that.
But what is Sean Alexander's record now?
All right, let's take a look. See, 0-1. He never graced the KD.
That was the guy that this guy does jiu-jitsu with, so you can hit, or some shit like and. Got it. All right. So, yeah, you kind of almost convinced me. I think I might be siding with you on this one because, Ricky, my last memory is him facing off with Brady after he just fought. And he's got, like, bandages all over his face and shit. It's not a good look. I'm like, this guy doesn't look like he's going to beat this guy. But now that you break it down like that, that's definitely a good case. I'm glad you did that. And, audience, you're welcome.
But he did beat Vince Murdoch, who's really good. So. All
right. Well, I'm going to throw this one to you, Alex, because you've actually seen both these guys. Give me your breakdown real quick for Andre Petroski versus Michael Gilmore. I mean, I think I know what your pick's going to be. Is Andre Petroski? But you can.
Yeah, Michael Gilmore had a very uninspiring fight on the Ultimate Fighter, and that's the only fight I've ever seen him fight. where Andre Petroski looked really good the entire time. Both of these guys, not too experienced, but Andre has less experience, but he's fought better guys, in my opinion. This is another guy, Micheal Gilmore, who's fought a lot of guys who have no experience, little to no experience. So you got to go with Andre Petroski here. He's at least fought guys who have multiple wins rather than just 2 and 1 and 4. Like, so I mean, I'm going with
Division I wrestler. I mean, I think it's AP all day here.
Great jiu-jitsu too.
You know, it wasn't an uninspiring performance that Micheal Gilmore had. I mean, he waited in Vegas for a month expecting.
Well, that part was inspiring, but the performance wasn't very inspiring. He got tapped out in like less than a minute by Gilbert Urbina.
For sure. We just wanted to make sure we touched on that. All right. Next, we got GM3, Gerald Meerschaert, 32-14, coming off, that good win. We knew he was going to bounce back strong after the Khamzat knockout. He did just that. I mean, he's got a decorated record. He power guillotines Barboza, Fabinski, Makhmud, Muradov, though, maybe a different story. He's 31 years old. He's coming off a win with Andrew Sanchez, veteran in his own right. But what do you guys think? I mean, he's from Tajikistan, fighting out of the Czech Republic, 14 wins in a row. To me, I almost got to go with Makhmud Muradov here, just because I've been looking to fade GM3. I didn't against Barboza. I knew he was going to come back strong and get that win. But what do you think about Makhmud Muradov? I think I'm going to take Makhmud here, double M.
Yeah, he's going to come in at minus 450 price tag today as of the Sunday leading up to it. So even by the time it gets to that, it'll be even more steamed. So the price tag is absolutely ridiculous. I'll take him as well. He lands 2 more strikes than Gerald absorbs. So if he could, continue his normal volume rate, he's going to be throwing stuff at Meerschaert that he hasn't experienced as far as just pure taking in strikes. So, and I also think that the wrestling will stifle any chance of a submission Hail Mary that Meerschaert will able to put out there. So give me double M. Let's see if it's triple P.
Yeah, you know me. I'm from the mud. I'm going with Makhmud Muradov over here. I think he finishes him. He's got a very exciting striking style. Gerald Meerschaert's only way to winning this is via the ground, and we all know he doesn't have the best takedowns, and he's got a bit of a jaw that can go in the first round, first minute, first 17 seconds if you're Khamzat Chimaev. So I think this actually plays out a lot like the Chimaev fight, and Makhmud puts him away pretty quick.
Nice. Shobi certified double M. And moving on, we have Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He's taking on Alessio de Chikarico. Chikarico surprised me, man. He knocked out Impa Casagne. And I'm sorry, not Impa Casagne. He knocked out Joaquin Buckley, who fought Impa Casagne. But he knocked him out with a head kick after losing that decision to Zach Cummings. He fought Makhmud Muradov too, lost the decision. Before that, lost the decision to Kevin Holland. That's solid competition, though. I mean, Zach Cummings may be the worst of the losses, but he's kind of having a little bit of a resurgence rally himself. I remember watching that fight. It was very close. Point kicks in the balls, things like that were happening. It was a dirty fight. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, he's been a little bit disappointing, especially as a favorite. Coming in as a big favorite 3 times in a row, lost every single time. Fortis MMA, lost to Lazez, Chaos Williams, Malkoun. 3 good guys, though, and Malkoun was a completely different Malkoun than we have seen in the past in this fight that he took him on most recently. And it was a decision, so I don't know, man. I mean, something tells me it's like, does Abdul lose 4 in a row? But something tells me D. Chikarico, I mean, he's a head case in his own right, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to go with Abdul Razak Al Hassan here. What do you guys think?
I've been fooled too many times on Al Hassan personally. Ever since the allegations, he hasn't been the same fighter when he had to take that big hiatus when he was going through the shit. So he had to take a 2-year hiatus for that. And ever since, he hasn't been the same guy, in my opinion. I think Alessio Di Chirico gets it done. And Abdul is a lot like Joaquin Buckley in a way. He's a very short, stocky guy with big, powerful strikes. And Alessio Di Chirico, he fared very well against him. So it's pretty similar stylistic matchup. I think he gets it done. And I love the passion that even after he wins a fight, Dana White comes by to try and talk to him, and he's mad. He's mad. He's like, oh, what the – Dana White said, what the fuck? You didn't know you won the fight or something. I'm getting out of here.
He was mad because he doesn't like that the loser doesn't get interviewed anymore, which I think it's like, bro, we got to commodify this somehow. We got to commodify a win somehow. We're already wiping these guys' butts enough. I mean, can we at least make them fight for a win so they get that precious airtime? I mean, this is the entertainment era, so.
I'm going to agree with you, Luke. I'm taking Abdul. DiChirico, I mean, if we're talking about guys with losses and coming off a couple losses in a row, DiChirico, he's had a couple losses his entire career, just spotted with red. We do see sometimes that when he's leading the dance and he's going forward, he can land some good offense, but I haven't seen much evidence that he's seasoned enough, technical enough as a striker to be striking, moving backwards, right? Being a good counter striker. And you're going to have to know how to do that with a guy like Al-Hassan just throwing bombs at you all day, because that's what he's going to be doing. So I don't think DiChirico's defense is there. I think eventually, let's say round 2, Al-Hassan is going to get that knockout. So that's just my take on that.
I like it. So we'll go up with Abdul out. So stick with Chikadze. Maybe the weigh-ins will sway, and we'll see. We will break down these last few fights, guys. And this is a pretty detailed analysis. Dan, hold up your notes.
Notes? Yeah. I said my nose.
No. Plenty of notes. So,
hey, but we all know the only reason Dan's picking Al-Hassan here is because he has a vendetta against everybody from the boot.
From the boot?
Italy, buddy.
No. Only the people who pose as they're from the boot while they live in California for the past 2 decades.
Well,
yeah, right, you wasp.
We will. I will do my 5-star criteria breakdown based on activity, age, strength of schedule, height and reach, and style. And I'll do that for you guys by the weigh-in show. I need to have some incentive for you guys to watch the weigh-in show. I mean, we only have one day where the weigh-in show is even worth anything to anybody. So I got to get those views up. I got to make it worth us taking a Friday and doing it, right? I mean, we have to actually watch the weigh-ins from 11 to 2. Then we have to record from 2 to 3, drop it instantly. We're trying to get guests. We have a guest every week. We had Joe Selecki. We had Manpreet from MMA Lock Night, who was at the fight last night. We have a screenshot in the Discord of him, a sighting of MMA Lock Night, Manpreet, who was at the UFC Apex for the Jared Cannonier fight. We had Clint from Die Hard MMA, one of the biggest podcasts on Twitter. And we had James Lynch, the biggest journalist in the space, interviews literally everybody. So,
and Farah Noon.
And Farah Noon. That wasn't a Friday show, but we've had, maybe it was, I forget. But either way, we've had tons of amazing guests. MMA Junkie, Farah Noon. I mean, one of the biggest UFC Arabia journalists. Huge presence. So go watch those videos, because we don't just talk about what's leading into the fights. We talk about them and how they got their start, things like that. It's really interesting. So take a look on those. But bottom line is watch the Friday after the weigh-in show, because it's where we make our final calls. You know, it's a good episode. So I'll come back. I'll do my 5-star criteria breakdown for those. These aren't uneducated picks. I'm pretty confident these already. Like this next one, Wellington Turman. I fade Sam Alvey until he's in the coffin. I mean, I don't think he's going to win another fight in the UFC. Sam Alvey is boxy. We thought Austin Hubbard was flat-footed. This guy's flat-footed, and he backs himself right up into the cage. He lost to Da Un Jung, shouldn't have been a split decision. Lost to Marquez, got choked out easy. Lost to Span, shouldn't have been a split decision. And, I mean, we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 UFC losses in a row, starting with the aging Nogueira in 2018 and finalizing most recently with the Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't see how Sam Alvey gets it done against anybody currently in the UFC. I think he's got a great smile and a great personality. They keep him around, but this should be his last fight, his swan song. Wellington Turman, I literally don't even need to know anything about Wellington Turman except that he's fighting Sam Alvey to know that he's going to win. But he's 25. Yes, he's coming off losses, bad losses, but he's got to win. And if he doesn't win here, I mean, who do you think the UFC wants to get on track? A 25-year-old Brazilian named Wellington Turman, ranked 46th in the middleweight division, or 74th ranked Sam Alvey, who's on a 6-fight losing streak and has his best days are behind him. So Wellington Turman's set up. He's going to win. Lock it in.
Yeah, this one makes me very nervous. Wellington Turman has been not very good since he's been in the UFC. He's only won 1 fight in the UFC against Marcus Perez, where Sam Alvey is a very big resume of fighters that are pretty good that he's beaten, and he's beaten them all in the UFC. I'm going to roll with Turman here just because he's the younger man. He's coming out of Hibero fight team. But I'm very nervous about this one, and it will not be on many of my parlays whatsoever.
So I'll admit I'm not liking the price tag that I see on this fight. Getting Sam Alvey for plus 130. I would like that to be at a higher rate. However, I will say I see a lot of value in that pick. Number one, Sam Alvey only submitted 1 time in his entire UFC career, entire MMA career. Granted, that was his last fight, but I think I think it's still shows us a little something, combined with his 82% takedown defense. Going up against a guy like Wellington Turman, who he's really banking on him submitting his opponent to get the win. Outside of that, he doesn't have that many paths to victory. So Sam Alvey being the guy who's just made a living of keeping it on the feet and then just swinging and banging from there, I think this is a good matchup for him. I think we should learn from Vince Micheal that it doesn't matter if you're 10 years older. Like, if it's the right matchup, you're probably going to win. And who knows, maybe the UFC is throwing Sam Alvey a bone saying, you've definitely been a corporate guy this entire time. You want to end your career, we'll give you one more fight that we think that you're probably going to win so you can end on a high note. That could be our little inside conspiracy angle there. But I'm going to say Sam Alvey.
It's not a conspiracy. He's fighting a 25-year-old. Sam Alvey has almost 50 fights, right? He's 35, right? But it's not a young 35 by any means. And the story, it's guys, who's he beaten? His last win is a split decision against John Volante, who we fucking hate on this podcast. And then Marcin Prachniow, I mean, that was in 2018. That's 3 years ago when he was 32. I mean, I don't know.
Much better.
Wow.
Can we just keep it like this? Perfect timing.
Listen, I wasn't saying that the age discrepancy was the conspiracy.
What the hell happened there? How did I remove myself? I was like, fuck, did I just ruin everything? An hour and a half of recording that I just ruined? But anyway.
We had a top 10 podcast for about 5 seconds, and then it all just went to shit.
All right, so who's your pick, Dan?
Sam Alvey. I'm riding, baby.
All right, okay. Next one, 205 contest. Darren Stewart versus Dustin Jacoby. Now, Darren Stewart, very competitive fight against Kevin Holland once he got it to the ground, but is he really known for a guy that takes things to the ground? No, he's the dentist, you know? Loss, draw, loss. He got pieced up by or sorry, not draw, but, you know, he got beat twice by Eric Anders. The second one was a little bit more competitive, but, yeah, I don't know. To me, this seems like Jacoby all day. What do you guys think?
Tough to say. Jacoby isn't much of a wrestler himself. He came off of the kickboxing circuit, so he used to fight in Glory. I don't know. If this stays on the feet, I think Darren Stewart could definitely put him away. I think I'm going to roll with Darren Stewart here because he's definitely fought a higher caliber of opponent. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that win that Dustin Jacoby had against Maxim Grisham very, very weird and not much of a win at all? And
well, what about his draw against Ian Cutelaba, who's a beast and like a savage and was like so pent up going into that fight, ready to fucking roll, coming off that knockout loss? I mean,
yeah, but I'm just saying his biggest win. Maxim Grisham. If I'm remembering correctly, maybe I'm not. I thought Maxim Grisham won that fight, and the unanimous decision went to Dustin Jacoby. That's his best win on his record for sure. But this is definitely going to be a tough one. I think I'm going to roll with Darren Stewart, but I definitely want to see the weigh-ins for this one. Let it marinate a little bit in my mind. Then I might switch.
But if you look at the history, Darren Stewart does well as an underdog, and he's a big underdog here, and there's definitely value in it. I mean, his back's against the wall here, but his last two performances, I mean, it was not a good idea to give him that Eric Anders.
Well, it's funny you say that because back in 2017, he was coming off of a 3-fight losing streak. I think it was 4 in a row. And then he had a beautiful knockout, 2 beautiful knockouts in a row. They got him right back on track and lost to Edmund Shabazian split decision. He's definitely fought the more talented fighters. But it really, I'm going to have to go back and watch that fight with Maxim Grisham versus Dustin Jacoby, because if he outclassed Maxim Grisham to get that unanimous decision, then I'll go Dustin Jacoby all the way. But in terms of, if I'm remembering correctly, I think that was a robbery.
So I have written here that Jacoby came on strong late in that last fight, and even the fight before that. So we know that he has, that to me signifies a good ring IQ, ring generalship, when you have your best rounds in your second and third. So that's what we've got going on with Dustin Jacoby, along with the 4-inch reach advantage. And I just think better kickboxing, which is what this fight is going to come down to. Darren Stewart actually does like to wrestle a little bit. The problem is in all 3 of the fights that he's landed takedowns, he's lost those fights. So it's not actually resulting in any way that's driving wins. So I actually like Dustin Jacoby based on the fact that it's going to be a kickboxing match, and that's what this guy does. And he's going to have the reach. He's going to be the bigger guy.
I completely agree. And like Kuchalaba took him down, and like you said, he battled back to a draw. So I like Jacoby in that one. I mean, it's sad because I like Stewart, but he's 12-7, maybe about to be 12-8, and like 0-4 in his last UFC fight. So it's like I want to see him around, but I just don't think he wins this one. We got a lady fight next. JJ Aldrich, 9-4, taking on 6-3 Vanessa Demopoulos. I think this is a setup for Aldrich. I think they got bigger things on her. She's a more professional athlete. She's got more UFC experience, more professional experience. And her last win against Courtney Casey, I mean, yeah, it was ugly, but we respect Courtney Casey enough on this fight. Vanessa, what has she done? I mean, is this her first fight in the UFC? I haven't heard of her. Yeah, it is. So I don't see any – I mean, Sam Hughes, we saw her get demolished by Tisha Torres. The only names I'm seeing here that I recognize from the UFC are names that this chick has lost to. So I think they bring her in to get beat here by JJ. I think JJ.
Yeah, anytime woman fighters Tapology pictures from a photo shoot where she's trying to look really attractive, I don't necessarily roll with them. I think JJ Aldrich she is younger. The other woman's 32, which is past a woman's prime. And JJ Aldrich is 28 years old, and she's more dedicated to fighting, in my opinion. She has wins over Courtney Casey. She's been in there with women like Macy Barber and Polyana Viana. So I'm going to roll with JJ Aldrich here. She's training at altitude. This is actually a replacement. Vanessa's a replacement. She was supposed to fight Tracy Cortez this weekend, but she dropped out with an injury. Huh?
Another setup.
Yeah. Well, I think Tracy Cortez could have probably beat JJ Aldrich, but I think she dodged.
I thought you meant that Cortez was going to fight Aldrich's opponent. Sorry.
No. Yeah. So, I think JJ comes out here and beats Vanessa. Vanessa is from Ohio too, which, who cares? Ohio doesn't even exist in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm going with JJ on this one.
Alex, throw that Triple P shirt up while you're at it, because I think Dan is about to Triple P certified JJ for the second double letter certification of the night, MM and JJ. Do you think so, Dan, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'll Triple P certified, but it's gonna be the most flaccid Triple P certification I've ever served up. JJ Aldrich coming in at -350 in this fight is absolutely ridiculous. I know that she has some pretty quality wins in the UFC, but every time I'm watching, I'm like, all right, like she's really not that good. Definitely not out here icing people, that's for sure. And she also absorbs more strikes than she dishes out, so that's never a good sign there. As far as Vanessa, this is a last-minute replacement, so haven't really had all that much time to look into her. Trains out of Black House MMA with Brian T. City Ortega. That might have been like one of his stipulations as a main event pay-per-view fighter coming up, being like, all right, you gotta grease this wheel a little bit too. So that might be why she's ending up in this spot. But I'll take JJ Aldrich, I guess. The price tag is just ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure Brian Ortega dates Tracy Cortez. So if they're all training together, then maybe they know something we don't know. If I'm not mistaken.
Very true. Like you're saying, because that's what I was thinking. If you're saying if Tracy called Ortega and said, I'm pulling out of this fight with Aldrich, let's give somebody from your gym a shot. Do you have any ladies in mind? And he's like, I got a girl in mind.
That could be the situation.
An Ohio dumbass.
Let's learn some more about her. And come back to you guys at the weigh-ins with a little bit more information. But I'm going to confidently say that JJ Aldrich is going to be the more prepared fighter here. And people coming in on short notice do not win at a rate historically since 2013 better than 37%. And if you check the pandemic era, if you say, well, Luke, people in the pandemic are more prepared than ever. Yeah, but if you look back to when Ferguson fought Gaethje till now, it's persistently 37%. Short notice replacement fighters under 40 days. Now I want to share my screen real quick and just show you guys that this fight card has 12 fights, but 10 fights have been called off. So Brian Battle remains on the card. Abdul Razak Al-Hassan remains on the card. Kevin Lee remains on the card. Those are three people I picked, right? So historically, it's with me. Chica Rico was on the card originally. So that I didn't pick him. That flies in the face of stats. Aldrich goes with the stats. Jacoby goes with the stats. And that's about it for now. So my point is, with the exception of Chikadze, I'm picking everybody who's already prepared to come in and fight on this card, and that goes with the stats. So, and hey, if it's 37%, right, then maybe Chikadze is the one that loses. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. We got 2 more fights left to break down. Pat Sabatini versus Jamal Emmers. Again, 69 versus 67. I mean, it's a fight where I like Pat Sabatini a lot. We talked about it on the Joe Selecki podcast that Joe Selecki fought on a lot of the CFFC cards with him coming up. So if you go check that one out, you can get a little bit of data on that. But Pat Sabatini is a beast. I don't know too much about Jamal Emmers, but my instinct here. My instinct here is to take Pat Sabatini here. So, you see Jamal has fought Giga. He lost to him. They like to keep guys in the same kind of cycle, like to gauge, he fought Giga. Let's see, Giga's in the main event. Let's see how he's improved, right? So, I don't know. I mean, something tells me Pat Sabatini is going to be able to get this win. What do you guys think? Dan, you got the notes. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm pretty big on Jamal Emmers, to be honest. This might be a parlay pillar for myself personally. Love Sabatini, love the local Philly guy. It's all well and good. Jamal Emmers is totally legit, though. If you watch the Giga Chikadze fight, great fight to look at, both for, obviously studying the main event and this fight. And Emmers, although lost, it was a split. It was damn close. He had plenty of moments in that fight in the striking department. Against a striker like Giga with that kickboxing. So I know that this guy's legit. He's a freak athlete, and he's coming from a wrestling base. I think he also wrestled collegiately. So Sabatini, who has 10 submission wins in his career, I don't think he's going to be able to rely on that in this matchup. Don't think it's going to be spending too much time on the ground. I think Emmers is going to utilize his reach advantage, athleticism, and superior striking to get the job done here, coming in at a minus 145 favorite, I believe. And I think that's totally fair.
I think I'm going to roll with Jamal Emmers here. I'm going to go against my hometown boy. I love Pat Sabatini for sure. But you look at Jamal Emmers' record here. He's only lost to some talented guys. Julian Erosa, when he lost to Julian Erosa was 21-5, and that was on the Contender Series. He was only 13-3, so he didn't have nearly as much experience. He has more experience than Pat Sabatini in this one. He lost to Giga, and he lost to Thiago Moises. He lost to Ray Trijulo. All these guys have had time in the UFC, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not Ray. But all these guys, pretty good guys, have had time in the UFC. He
beat Corey Sandhagen. Sorry to step on that. Corey Sandhagen and Alexander Hernandez.
Took the words right out of my mouth. He beat Alexander Hernandez and Corey Sandhagen, and I'm pretty sure – no. Pat Sabatini beat Tony Gravely. So both of these guys have good wins, and this is going to be a very close fight. This is going to be my barn burner fight of the night, and I hate to not make it Triple P certified, especially for a hometown boy like Pat Sabatini, but I think Jamal Emmers keeps it on the feet and might be able to piece him up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only one who picked Pat Sabatini, so you're in no danger of Triple P certified in there. Yeah, but it's going to be a barn burner. Like you said, they put it at the beginning of the card for a reason, to get everybody tuning in. Mana Martinez, Guido Cantinelli. So, for me, Mana was scheduled to fight recently. So I look at him as somebody who's probably more prepared, but that didn't go well for Trevin Jones. But he's taking on the guy from Greece, it looks like. I'm going to click on his name right now, Guido Cantinelli.
That is Argentina.
Oh, Argentina, okay. So, he's 41. He's 41. He's from Argentina, coming off back-to-back losses. To me, I don't really bet on guys over 40, and it's like he's 8-5. Like, he's not a vet, Mana's got more fights than him. He's got 10 fights. So I think Mana Martinez gets it done, maybe even by finish. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Guido Canetti, he hasn't fought in
Guido Canetti. Guido.
I mean, that is a very offensive word in my culture, and I don't like to use it. So I'm sorry.
It's just a Jersey thing. What does that?
So I'm sorry that I didn't use it, but that's a very offensive word, and I call it the G word, in fact. So I can't roll with him for sure, just off of racism alone. And
his name is Guido.
It's just a Jersey thing.
Yeah, that's racist toward my people, and I don't like it.
People you've never been to.
But I've been to the Jersey Shore, and that is the other island coming off of the boot. In case you didn't know, it goes all the way over. Yeah, so I mean, he hasn't fought since last year, and before that, he didn't fight since 2018 when he lost to Marlon Vieira. So I think Mana Martinez gets it done here and gets on the, or not back on the right track. He's already has a winning ways.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Not sure what the odds are on this one. Don't believe it is posted on DraftKings, but giving Mana Martinez, Guido Canetti, last 5 losses, all by finish, versus Mana Martinez, guy with all of his wins via finish. Training partner of Adrian Yanez, very technical, very smooth on the feet and on the ground. He should get the finish in this one. Start the night off right.
All right, guys, and they don't have too many odds, so we can't really give you our odds for the card so far, but as of right now, we'll check back in with you on Friday. I swear to God, we won't bother you till then. But until then, here are my picks. Giga Chikadze in the main event. I'm going with him. These boys did a good job convincing me that Barboza is going to roll here, but I'm going to go with Giga. I think he's got more to gain here. I'm going with Bryan Battle. I think that's an easy one. I'm going with Ricky Turcios. Alex convinced me. I'm going with Kevin Lee. They convinced me. I'm going with Andre Petroski. Easy one. I'm going with Makhmud Muradov. I'm going with Abdul Razak Al Hassan. I'm going with Wellington Turman, Dustin Jacoby, JJ Aldrich, Pat Sabatini, and Mana Martinez. If you're asking me for my most confident ones, I'm going with Mana Martinez. He's taking on a guy who's 40 who's 8-5. I'm going with Wellington Turman. I'm going with not Makhmud Muradov, because Gerald Meerschaert is the bane of anybody with an OV in their last name. He'll throw up a flying triangle, I swear. I'm not going to throw them in my most confident. Petroski, lock. Bryan Battle. Those are my 4 most confident. Alex, give everybody your picks.
All right. If you're rolling with me, you're taking Edson Barboza, Bryan Battle, Ricky. What is it? Turcios. I keep wanting to say Turquoise. That's how it's spelled to me. Turquoise.
Like Cormier, tomato tomato.
Exactly. Maybe if he was from the Bayou. So Kevin Lee, Andre Petroski, Makhmud Muradov, Alessio Di Chirico, Wellington Turman. This fight's tough. I'm rolling with Darren Stewart for now, but it's subject to change, just as all these cards are. JJ Aldrich, Jamal Emmers, and Mana Martinez.
Alrighty, if you were rolling with the Batman, we're starting off the night, or actually finishing it, with Edson Barboza. I'm going to switch my pick officially now on the channel. As far as the Ultimate Fighter, these boys did a really good job in convincing me. Now going with Bryan Battle over Gilbert Urbina. Next fight, I'm going to stick with Brady Hiestand upon further review against Ricky Turcios. But Alex does bring up some good points. A little more digging on my part for that fight. Definitely rolling with Kevin Lee over D-Rod. Didn't even really look at this one. I know Andre Petroski. I've heard he's a beast, so I think I'll probably roll with that pick.
Division 1 wrestler, Penn State, I believe.
Isn't he the guy that was like the South Jersey dude, like chopping wood in his backyard with like a river or something?
I do not think
chopping wood, I don't think. But yeah, he lives by the water.
Yeah, he's a waterman. There we go. I'll take Makhmud Muradov cleanly over Gerald Meerschaert. Abdul Razak Al Hassan over the real Italian, the real deal, Alessio Di Chirico. Unfortunately, he's going to end the night in the losing column. Sam Alvey, very strong underdog play here. If you're looking at these single bets, love Sam Alvey at plus 130. That actually might get steamed up later on in the week, so look out for that. Dustin Jacoby, very, very, very strong pick in my estimation over Darren Stewart. JJ Aldrich for the win. Jamal Emmers, like that pick as well. And our first fight of the evening, Mana Martinez over Guido Canetti.
Give us your most confident.
Jamal Emmers.
No, like all of your most confidence.
Okay. Mana Martinez, that line is probably going to be crazy, skewed towards his favor. But him, Jamal Emmers, and Dustin Jacoby.
Okay, cool.
And if you want my most confident picks, you're going to have to join the Discord. That's where I put them. I've been shit lately all because of Thud. But also join the Discord. Follow me at EuroUnderKing. Follow Lukey at PPP Certified. And I love you guys also. And Dan, what is your Twitter?
Perfect_parlay on Twitter.
and ours are going to be on Instagram. Dan holds down the Twitter. So, guys, yeah, the Discord's popping every Saturday. We'll be there like clockwork this Saturday. So join us, and thank you for liking and subscribing to the channel. We're almost to that 1,000 subscriber mark, which will allow YouTube to put ads on our channel. So that would be really cool. Just a nice little milestone. We only started this channel when the pandemic started. So if you're new, we pursue the perfect parlay every single week. We've hit one. Dan's hit an 11-fight parlay. I've hit a 10-fight parlay. 10 out of 10, I versus Calvillo. And we are not stopping yet. We are pushing into the new year with above 60% accuracy and moving into our sophomore year. We've all just started sports betting, and we're all killing it. We are deep, diehard UFC fans. And if you like UFC too, chat with us every Saturday. Join us in the podcast. Thank you for joining us. I don't even want to leave. But we've done an hour and a half, 45 minutes. This has been a mega episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Boys, till Friday, take care.
Take care.